All right, guys, what's up? In the car rider line. So we're putting out a shirt pre-order this week. One of the shirts says high squats, low squats, high standards, low squats, high standards. And it just came from I probably saw it somewhere. I'm not going to claim I came up with that, but it was just thrown out in one of our classes, like keep your squats low and your standards high. And it's just like sums up the idea of having good mechanics and good technique is going to help you to move better and ultimately get more fit. So we prioritize moving well over moving fast, and we only move as fast as we can move well. And it's this idea of technique, and it's in the CrossFit Level 1 manual, so which is like the kernel of everything that CrossFit is based off of. There's a whole article about technique, and the big picture of it is that technique is what allows you to do the most work with the least amount of effort. So poor technique, you're going to expend a lot of energy to do X amount of work. With good technique, you will expend less energy to do the same amount of work. An example would be a deadlift, which is just picking something up off the ground. If you can imagine, well, let me a illustration first. If you're holding a gallon of milk, does it feel heavier further away from your center of mass or closer? It's going to feel heavier further away, so you want to keep that, or in order for it to feel light and not get tired, you keep it as close as you can to your center of mass. With a deadlift, we talked about keeping the bar close, or like kind of one of the technical ways you could talk about is keeping the bar in the frontal plane, which is a line that dissects your body in half this way. So the closer you keep that bar to the frontal plane, the more efficiently you're going to be able to move the weight. Two people could be doing a 225 pound deadlift, and the person with better technique is going to expend less energy. So the person who's able to keep it closer, who's able to stay balanced in their feet, who's able to have active shoulders and just all of these things to engage all their musculature, they're going to expend less energy to move that same 225 pounds as someone who, the bar is floating away from their shins, and their hips are rising before their shoulders, and you name it, they're shifting into their toes, all those things. So it's more efficient to use good technique. That's one of the reasons why we emphasize it, and also it's safer. It's keeps you in the game longer. You make it to the finish line. So using that same deadlift example, good technique would be maintaining a neutral spine, so a flat back. That's obvious. That's the thing people are concerned about with deadlifting, is hurting their back, which is interesting. You're more likely to hurt your back from sitting at a desk all day long and not learning to deadlift properly and never training, picking things up off the ground. And then one day you do have to pick up a bag of mulch and you haven't been training it, and you round your back and you hurt your back. As opposed to properly training how to pick something up off the ground with good technique, balanced in your feet, neutral spine, active, all these things we teach in CrossFit. And you're going to strengthen all those muscles, in your back and your legs and your glutes and all those things, so that you don't hurt yourself. So anyway, it's more technique makes the movement more efficient, makes it more safe, and also it improves the efficacy of whatever the intended outcome of the exercise is. So if you are moving with good technique with a deadlift, for example, you're going to be able to do more weight safely, so you're going to be able to do more repetitions, you're going to be able to do more work. This is where CrossFit is really built around this idea that fitness is defined as work capacity across broad time and modal domains. So everything we do is, how can I increase my fitness? How can I increase my work capacity across an infinite number of tasks? Essentially, I want to be able to say yes to anything in life, because life throws unknown and unknowable tasks at you, and you want to be able to do the things that are presented to us on planet Earth and do the good work that God has for you to do. So technique allows you to do that with efficiency, efficacy, and safety. So that's why we prioritize. That's why we made a shirt that says low squats, high standards, because we believe standards matter. Car rider lines moving. Standards matter. Virtuosity, which means doing the common uncommonly well, matters. Details matter. So like when you're squatting, we're never going to get away from hey, you need to squat below parallel and you need to be balanced in your feet, keep your heels down. Hey, make sure your knees are tracking with your toes, lift your chest up a little more, get that back flat and neutral. It's always going to come back to that. And the best athletes in the world, it's not just in CrossFit, the best athletes in the world always go back to the basics, and they always go back to perfecting and training and practicing the basics and doing it well, doing the common uncommonly well. Serena Williams, hours working on her forehand with a machine. You name it, any baseball player, hours and hours just with a pitching machine, working on their swing, dialing things in. Golfers, any top level athlete, swimmers, they're going to work on their dive into the water over and over again, get it as efficient as possible. It's the basics that make the best athletes in the world the best at what they do. So we're just normal people, wanting to be healthy, be able to perform well in life so that we can love well, serve well, and just fulfill whatever God has for you to do to the best of your potential. And technique matters in order to do that. Keep your squats low and your standards high, my friends. Talk soon.